Hey guys, how we doing? In a previous video I mentioned something about not making a certain knife anymore, and that was that little Skinner. Wanted to come up with something that not only was a little bit easier to produce on a larger scale, but also something that I could offer to folks in a couple of different ways that made it a little bit more utilitarian, or maybe it would cover a lot more groups, a lot more people of interest. The little Skinner was kind of limited to just a small niche or group of people and to that specific style. So what I did is I sat down and I created another knife, and I kind of drew one out a little bit. And what this is going to let me do is I'm going to be able to make this knife. I can offer it in two different finishes, which is right now going to be the acid stone wash as well as a hand polish. But the standard is going to be the acid stone wash. Number two, I'm going to be able to offer it both skeletonized, which means without scales, and then I can also offer the same knife with scales on them. And the standard scales would be a Micarta or a G10. You'll still be able to do wood if you wanted, and you could still have liners and decorative pins and stuff. And what I'm trying to do is just broaden a little bit more. You know, I've gotten, I think, 7 different style knives that I've made in just over 2 years now. So what I'm trying to do is come up with a couple of new production knives, and I'm going in the tactical series. I'm currently doing a video series and designing and creating a 10-inch tactical knife, a fighting knife, and this is going to be somewhere along that same lines in that family, that little genre there. So what I figured I'd do is I'll show you what I got drawn out and get cracking with marking it out on a D2 steel and shaping it and profiling it and everything. So come on for the ride. I hope you enjoy it. What I have here is a 7-inch long knife. It has about a 3-inch blade, and it's going to be a full flat grind. Both of these are the exact same style, but the shape and blade style. The difference is going to be, of course, this one's going to be skeletonized, and this one's going to have scales. What I'm thinking I'm going to be doing is offering these with black 1/4-inch pins that are going to be a micarta paper or linen type product, or a G10. So these are going to be black, and the scale is going to be a micarta or a G10, like a black and olive drab and OD green, coyote browns and dark earths and stuff like that. So I'm going to go along that line there. You'll always have an option to upgrade to wood as well as decorative pins in 1/4-inch. And you'll also have the option of having liners or having two-tone scales, meaning if you want maybe black up front, which is one of the ideas I'm thinking of, at this part from the front near the choil coming back just past the first pin and come straight across here, this would be black, say black micarta, and then this would be olive drab or coyote brown or something micarta with a black pin. The other thing I'm going to look at too is maybe doing a lanyard hole back here. So this would be a pin, but this would be a lanyard hole. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put it out on cardboard or on wood or something like that and make the shape, and we'll see how that feels. And if I'm pretty pleased with that, then we'll transfer that over to steel, and then we'll shape it out at D2, and then we'll go through that process. I think that lends itself pretty good. I mean, the worst case scenario is I would take just a slight difference out of here, a bit, just like a 1/16 right in here. But right now, I'm at, see, it's at 1 inch, and I don't really want to go any further than 1 inch. 1 inch is really good. The 1.25 inch, yep, that's good right there. So 1.25 inch is a good standard size thickness for the knife. But I think that works out good. I'd hate to go any shorter. The blade size is a good blade size. This is really nice. Even if you had a little bit bigger hands or fatter hands, you'd be right about here then. You know, trying to space my fingers out a little bit, you'd be right about there. And I still think that curve at the heel of your hand, that would work out good. So I think now what we have to do is transfer it to steel. Tiring that is. Oh, I don't know what's going on with the saw. The rubber band have come off. down below at the drive wheel twice. I've put it back on, cleaned it all up. I've put another blade on. Something's just now, I'm pushing into it, but it just doesn't seem to want to, just stops cutting. So I'm not sure what it is. I mean, it's a brand new blade. It's sharp. But, and then the other thing is too, is that as soon as I start driving it, the blade wants to curve immediately. So I don't know what the problem is with it. I have to figure out something here. But yeah, I took it apart, put it all back together again, level it all off. I don't know. Figure it out, but let's get back to this knife. Okay, so we went from our drawing to this stencil right here and started working it out a little bit. And it's the devil's in the details sometimes, you know, and I think I've said that before. It's, as you guys have seen, if you look at a picture on a piece of paper, it's one thing. When you put it into something like this, a stencil, it becomes something different. Then, once you get into a knife, you start putting it into steel. It starts putting things a little bit more in perspective, and you can start playing it with it a little more, because now you have the shape, but now you have the heft. You have the heft of the steel and how it's going to start to play out. And so far, I think it's turned out pretty good. Now this was this is 1 inch right here. This is going to be 1 inch. This is 1.25 inches. And again, our overall length, we should be at 7 inches. A couple of the things I did differently is, instead of leaving this go to such a point right here, I actually made the belly a little bit more of a swoop, and I carried it up a little bit. So if you were to put the stencil and the knife together, you could see that right there. Hopefully you'll see right in the spot here, I carried out and I carried that up a little bit. So I actually brought the spine out and I brought the belly up. Instead of having more of a straighter, like a spade type point, I brought this up just a little bit more. And that's nice. That's nice like that. From the top of the spine to the belly of the knife, I'm literally at 30 seconds shy of 1.5 inches. Inside the finger groove, it's I mean, not necessarily a choil, but the finger groove right here, that's really good. I'm going to do a choil. I'll draw that out and I'll do a choil. The choils aren't aesthetic in my eyes. The choil actually has a useful purpose, and I've probably mentioned this in videos before, but as you sharpen your edge, the choil acts as basically that break in between your ricasa and your blade. And if you see knives that have no choil, there's going to be a gradual increase in here in material. And if they've gotten it really fine, which is definitely possible, there's a lot of really good knife makers out there. You make it real fine, but when you sharpen it, the owner, as you start to sharpen your knife, more often than not, you start going into your choil right here at this part where the blade meets it, and it starts to mess up your choil right in here and starts to kind of taper that off. It makes this a little bit more of an angle. Whereas you have the choil, the edge stops at that choil, and you're good to go. I can't say I've ever found a knife that had completely lost its choil. And now people have probably butchered their knife up and then gotten rid of the choil because they machine sharpened it so much and ground it down. But yeah, I can't think of anything. But that's why the choil's there. Anyhow, so that's nice. It's feeling good. And as you guys will see, it's still right there at the heel of my hand, right in the spot. So I think that's gonna work well for an actual pocket skeletonized knife, especially once I start the holes across the tang and take down the blade profile. That's going to make a remarkable difference in weight. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to mark out some holes. Anyhow, guys, appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and mark these out, lay these out, but thanks for stopping over. Thanks for supporting the channel. Hopefully this will be something that you guys watching this will be interested in. I'm going to get these out. I'm hoping to have at least one with skeletonized and one with scales by the 1st of November. to be able to take some orders to kick some of these out by Christmas time. That's the goal. I've got a busy September, October with a hunt and a bunch of other stuff happening. But I am hoping to get some of these out for Christmas time. So keep an eye on the channel for that and the website. Come back again. There's going to be more parts of this video series. We're going to go ahead and do these holes, taper the blade profile, and get this heat treated and acid washed. I'm going to make another one of these at the same time. I might not do it on camera. But until the next one, guys, thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Help keep me from the bottom of the YouTube bucket. It's phenomenal, the support I've been getting, and I appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Until the next one, you guys take care. Bye.